What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 1.1%, 222 the low, 230 the high, and kind of low volume. So 39 million shares being traded, 154 is the average. So it is finally showing signs of life, really breaking above a key resistance level. So we'll go over technicals near the end of the video. But on a macro standpoint, there wasn't really all that much in data today. A couple of Fed speakers roughly around noon. Their hot topics were kind of stagflation, tariffs, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really impacting the broader market all that much. We did have early this morning Bessent mentioning that they see for the September meeting, for the Fed meeting, for there to be a larger cut. And that is exactly what the market does truly want. It wants a 75 basis point cut between both the September and also October meetings. And it's one thing actually just saying it, but the market actually does believe it. So right now there's a 95.9% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut, and now as of today a 4.1% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. So that is huge for the broader market, even the EV sector as well, which is very sensitive to interest rates. So that came out first thing. Lucid did lag a little bit, and of course that is because of shorts. So at its peak they were increasing roughly around 8 million shares. Right now they are only increasing 3.9 million shares. So they are one of the attributing factors why it is starting to move higher, especially when I started to prepare for this video. They were increasing roughly around here, 8 million. So they are kind of returning for whatever reason. So I'll go over a couple things in a second. But aside from that, 32.14% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 403.41 million shares overall being shorted. So I feel like their plan today, and normally what their plan is, to break Lucid on a technical standpoint, and that's not really working in their favor today. So good to see big money is buying behind the scenes. Specific to Lucid, no official news, no SEC filings. Roughly around the time frame that this started to really move higher was this. So Lucid did put out a 23-second clip, and so this is going to be their big unveil tomorrow. From what we can see, it clearly is the Gravity. It's not the midsize, and it's just a variation. That's assume kind of an off-road or Pebble Beach type of thing. So yeah, that's going to be something good. Hopefully tomorrow they actually do put out some actual official news with some concrete information, such as price point, when it's going to be available, blah, 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 that type of stuff. Because if they just unveil it and that's it, I feel like that's okay, but not as good as actually giving some concrete information behind the scenes. Unless, you never know, maybe that is the touring version. But aside from that though, moving over to the options, 670,000 in calls, 489,000 in puts. So kind of lower dollar value, matching with the common stock. 36% of all the options being done are neutral in nature. And as I've mentioned in the past, the reason why it is neutral is because of big money, I guess, doing such large amounts that it kind of eats up whether it be the bid or the ask. So it's not really oriented towards either of them. So technically we don't really know what it was, and most likely it was one of these two. So 165,000 between 210 and 215, or potentially 279,000 between 1105 and 1110. Aside from that though, from the bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above 250 and potentially as a little bit higher than 3 going into next week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 2 to 250, but there's not really much activity coming from them. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market. So of course, I think most of all the transactions being done today is on the dark pool, but we have 4 today, 3 buys, one for 1.01 million, 336, and then 105, and then 1 sell that was for 112,000. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool, so a little bit more active as per usual. So dark pool is often enough used by shorts and hedge funds and things along those lines. With it right now at 230, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So as I've mentioned, pretty much for the majority of the day, it was below this pivot point. So that's kind of what Shorts' plan was, for it to stay below and keep it below that 225. But luckily enough, we had a rush of institutions really buying it, pushing it higher, and that prompted Short to rather give up on their plan for today. So 225 is going to be a support level going forward, and then 239 239 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. No new analyst ratings as far as today, no articles really coming out, no other speculative topics. And on the actual chart, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, it now is above that ALMA for 3 consecutive days, showing that it wants to move higher. So consolidation phase might be over, at least in the short term. One thing to watch for though is 235. So that is going to be that 50-day moving average. That might be kind of that line in the sand that shorts are willing to die on. So we'll kind of wait and see, because I think generally everyone knows what that 50-day moving average does mean. So if it's able to successfully close above that, then yeah, 250 in the short term could very much come to fruition. Aside from that though, stochastic RSI is very oversold. So a good piece of news, such as even today with the potential 50 basis point cut for the September meeting, then that's a good reason to essentially buy and maybe see a rush of new investors getting into Lucid, because it is very oversold. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. One thing to take note of though is, as I've mentioned, there's a 4.1% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. We have a lot of big data coming out over the next couple of trading days, such as PPI on Thursday, and then on Friday, retail sales and Michigan consumer sentiment. A lot of that data could further validate a 50 basis point cut. So again, big things might be coming down the pipeline in the next couple of trading days. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.